going to put out the right. Let's start with the official lesson today. 我先补充说明一下哈，跟之前 lesson 不一样啊。上个礼拜是一个实境演练啊，不过我也不确定效果怎么样，因为我是觉得第一次做 vlog style 没有那么的习惯。今天是用英文授课啊，那所以大家忍受一下啊。我想说，因为线上大家比较没有练习的机会，那所以多听一下英文也好。那所以今天的课程，我们今天是用英文授课的方式来上课。那当然，同仁如果对上课内容有问题或疑问，或者是有听不懂的地方啊，可以在留言区让我知道一下，然后我们就可以让我比较能够去回答这些问题，好吧？好，我们以留言区这边为主 ，OK？ 好，那接下来就尽量没有中文的，我就把中文给填掉了。Alright, let's start with today's official lesson. Like I mentioned before, today we try to do this as an all English instructions. Try to avoid the Chinese part as much as possible, so everyone can try to focus on your listening. Don't get intimidated by this, because with the fear of learning in the language, it will be harder for everyone to advance in your English speaking abilities. It is only when you try to get in touch with English more and more where you get a better command of English as much as possible. So, like I said, today we're going to do this in English as general. Now, if you ran into me like on the street or outside the office, and you felt that you guys want to convert back to Chinese, let me know. I'll switch back. Okay, it isn't really like is it easier to speak English or is it easier to speak Chinese? That's not really a thing for me. So to me, it doesn't really make any differences. It takes the same amount of breath to speak English as it is to speak Chinese. So it's all the same for me. Now, putting that aside, let's start with today's lesson. The original design for today's lesson has to do with administrative communication, formal writings, documentations going back and forth and everything. But last time I used last week's session in terms of vlog. We have a singing competition and a cooking competition last week. And I sort of wanted to give you guys a glimpse of a feeling like how what students are doing over there. So I thought it would be a good idea to open up the vlog. But I'm not sure how the sound reception is. I haven't go back and look at the video yet. I should have yesterday. I forgot. Okay, only now I realize. Oh, I should take a look at it instead of just letting it go. So I'll do that, after today's session. Okay, this is session 6. Okay, the topic is not really about practice. Practice is last week, but since I already made the handout and I haven't used it yet, I'm going to use it today. So, everybody bear with me. All right, today's topic says practical. Practical means useful. Okay, a practical something is a useful something. A practical situation, situational English for campus offices. Okay, we're talking about what each office can use or what they do when they try to talk to the students. Okay, now we sometimes hear the term practice. Practice makes perfect. Okay, so practical It's something that you do to make, to use them on a daily basis. All right. The key focus for today, I put this online on the online platform, but I linked it at the 5th week, not the 6th week. I'll change that after today's class. I meant to change it yesterday, but I didn't really do it. So just go by the 5th week teaching materials, okay, and then we can take a look at it over there. Now, I understand a lot of people might not be proficient with English, but I always thought to myself that, you know, by getting in touch of it more often, you get better with your command of English anyway. So this is why I meant to do this by class 2, but I didn't have the motion to put it forward there. Right. Today it's here. The goal for the day is try to strengthen the English service skill for handling foreign students. Now we have a lot of foreign students, and when I say a lot, more than half of our students are foreign students. And unlike the Taiwanese students, foreign students requires more attention, and you tend to have to put more time, and you have to put more effort into taking care of them. They have more problems, let's put it this way. And this happened to be, you know, like for most international students. I personally believe they gotten better compared to what we had a long time ago. I'm not sure how this is everybody feels, but still, I personally think it has gotten better over the years. But still, the international students, they have so much more to take care of. Okay, so today we'll talk about like how each area works. So we want to, the sole purpose of this class is to strengthen English service skills for handling foreign students. And the focus is, let's talk about the real life campus scenarios, conversation, and confidence. Okay. Scenario means, well, actual case, a case of something that you do, like physical case, like case number 1, case number 2. That is a scenario. Okay, we want to be polite. Polite means nice. If we say Peter is a polite person, that means Peter is a very nice person. Okay, we want polite communications. Do we get to do it all the time? Well, in general. Okay, sometimes we could not be nice to students because there's so much stuff to go with them, but still we try to be as much as possible. And confidence, okay, it's all about confidence. Don't call for Peter. Even though I still talk to international students all the time, I'm not in the position handling those right now. All right, I'm gonna skip this one. You guys don't have ways to respond at this point, so I'm gonna just skip that one for now. Right now, I'm going to start with clarifying. When you need to clarify a question, okay, or try to clarify a situation. When you try to clarify, I actually have Chinese in here. You want to understand better at something. That means clarify. If you are not clear, if you don't understand what someone is saying, you say, "Oh, you're saying this, but I don't know what you're talking about." You could say, "Could you repeat again? Could you say it again, or could you repeat the sentence?" Okay, then they get a better glance. Adjusting my camera. Okay. Then you get a better understanding what they are talking about. They'll say it twice. All right. Normally, if you see a student walk into your office, normally the first thing you do is, "What can I do for you?" Right? Normally we start with a greeting. Good morning. How can I help you today? What can I do for you? Right what can I do for you? What is your business? Okay. If you want to be rude, what do you need? Want, or what do you need? What do you want? That means asking what is that, what thing do they want to do? Okay. To be nice, we can tell them to be nice to meet you. Okay, please have a seat. Some of the office doesn't have a seat, just skip that one. Okay. And I'm sorry, it was cut off for a second. Right, sorry, a phone call cut in. If you want to know, for example, sometimes they are coming with a situation. Okay, then we'll ask him or her, could you explain what happened, or could you explain the situation? Let's cut this one. Put question mark here. Could you explain what happened? Can you explain the situation? What is a situation? A situation means happening. What is happening at this point? What is the current condition of things? Okay, and when did this issue start? Okay, when did it start means when it start happen. Let me give you an example. It might be easier this way. All right. I had a physical conversation like this before. I was asking, what can I do for you today? How can I help you? Let's say a student ran into sexual harassment at workplace. Let's not happen here. That happen here is something different. Okay. If I ask him, could you explain what happened today? Okay. Normally she would start to explain, maybe someone tried to touch her, someone tried to harass her at the work. Okay. And it is very important to know all the details. Okay. When, where, how, why, what. Okay, the WH questions. If you ran into questions or situation you didn't know how to do or couldn't get information out of it, remember this, ask them the WH questions and try to get the detailed information. What, when, where, who, why, how. Okay, you get the WH questions, try to clarify the situations, see what they have to explain. If we try to provide an assistance, okay, sometimes we can tell them, well, let me show you the steps. Very often, let's say if a student come in and say they want to apply for a missing ID, a student ID, okay, let's try this. Let's say a student comes in and say, I lost, we mentioned this last time, I lost my student ID last week. Okay. Technically speaking, I don't want to know how. I just want to know how to fix it. Normally they'll be like, what should I do? Okay. You as a staff, I tell them first, fill out the form to request a new student ID card. Pay $200 at the cashier's office at the first floor. Then come back and give us a receipt. The student might be asking, like, how long does it take? So you can say 3 days. I don't really know how long it takes. So 3 days. Right. And you might be asking them, do you have any money in the card? Because our student ID is also an e-wallet. Okay. It is an e-wallet card, so yeah, we could transfer the money in. So technically speaking, if it's something that we need to find out for them, for example, if they want to know the progress on their ARC card, or have they been registered for class, how many more credit hours do they need to graduate, you can tell them this one. Okay, I'll check the information for you. Okay, let's see. Let's say a student came in. Okay, she say, how many class is he missing from graduation? Alright, students asking like how many class or classes. Okay. Class means credits. It's the same thing. Okay, is he missing from graduation? That means to graduate, how many more does she need? And you can tell her, you as a staff, you need, let's say, 12 more elective classes, credits. Okay, let's call it credit. And you still need, let's think of let's say business management, and tourism, English tourism English. To complete your graduation requirement. Okay. Now you can look at their charts and you can tell them that you need 12 more elective credit. Elective means 选修. Okay. And you still need business management, which is 管理学, and tourism English, and 观光英文. Okay, to complete, to finish the requirement to graduate. Okay, that means the 毕业门槛, 毕业需求. Okay. So normally we'll say, I'll check it for you. If the student came in a bit upset, okay, they've been mad or angry about something, and they are bad tempered. This is used very often in the United States, all the time. Very often they'll say, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. What is an inconvenience? A convenience means something simple and easy. Okay, easy for you. In Chinese, we call it 方便. Okay. Now, 方便面不叫做 convenience noodle. Okay. Now, convenience, for example, one common term that we see all the time is this. Convenience store. Okay, convenience store is means something that's easy access, easy for you to use. 方便的去使用 convenience store. So inconvenience means causing trouble. Okay, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Means I'm very sorry that it is not easy for you. Okay, so we want to thank them for their patience. Patience is this 耐心. Okay, so we want to say thank you for your patience. Okay, we want to thank you for it. There is an action here. We use the term for here. Thank you for your patience. Now, a little side note about the convenience store. This is what a convenience store looks like. A 7-Eleven. Okay. If you go to the United States, okay, gas station. Gas station is where you get gasoline, oil for your car. Okay, I cannot say oil because normally if you say oil for your car, it means motor oil. That is 润滑油, 机油. Okay. Normally you use the word gasoline. Okay. If you go to US, okay, and you go to get a gas, this is right here. This is a convenience store. This is a convenience store. This is a convenience store, and this is a convenience store. The gas station in the United States always have convenience stores with them. Okay, they always comes with convenience store. Right. In Taiwan, it's just convenience store. Now, a convenience store might not be aligned with gas station, but gas station always comes with convenience store. That's the way it operates in the United States. And the gas station in the United States are always self-serve, almost always, unless you are in New Jersey. And this is a self-serve. Okay, you pay the gas yourself. Okay, so you add the gas yourself and you pay for the gas yourself. Okay, that's how it works in the United States. So get your own gas when you go to this state. All right. So a lot of time when we have to take care of something for them to apply their applications or do that, sometimes it takes a long time. Okay, they had to wait over there for a while before the things can be complete. So normally this is me. Okay, not everyone could do this, but we try to be patient. I try to be patient with the students as much as possible if you are deal with them, because I can understand the students been here across the ocean. They are not familiar with the stuff. We say this very often. It's like when we go to the United States, we don't, like nobody ever takes care of us. Which is true. I've been in the United States for a long time, and I had to take care of myself for most of the time when I'm in college. Okay, I had to pay the bill, pay the ticket, pay everything. Right? But this is Taiwan. We're like nanny. We have to take care of the kids. So yeah, try to be patient with the students. All right. So thank you for your patience. Student loves me because I always have a smile on my face when I talk to them. Okay, I'm not the nicest person, but I try to be patient with the student if I could. Okay. Now, if you finish everything, you're done with the particular student. I'm done with talking to you. Everything's handled. It's all nice and all. You can say, is there anything else? Okay. Now let's cut this in two sectors. Number one, is there Chinese? Okay. Anything else is a common phrase you use to ask someone wants more or has other request. It is saying that, do you have other stuff? 有没有其他东西、其他事情 ？Okay, it's a common phrase. 这个很常用，非常非常常。Common phrase 是平常普通的意思。A common phrase used to ask if someone wants more or has any other questions. In another word, it's kind of like saying, do you have other questions? Okay. Do you need anything else? I'm already saying anything else. So remember this one. It is used all the time. Okay, all the time. Where did it go? Right. So in US, if you don't want to break this up, just remember this whole thing. Okay. Is there anything else I can help you with? When I say I can help you, 我可以帮你忙. Is there anything I can help you with? 我还可以帮你什么忙? Okay. Remember this. It is very commonly seen and it's used everywhere. Everybody uses. Okay. And in the end, you can say, have a nice day. Okay, goodbye, or nice to see you. Okay, to offer your help. Now, the whole part of this is to show courtesy. What is courtesy? It means to be nice, to be modest. Right? Talking to students, I know a lot of time is situational, but it is all about hospitality. The service of it. Okay, so try to be nice to students as much as possible. Right. Oh my God, I'm yawning already. If you see someone requesting a documentation, and I'll go into the detail about this one right now. Okay. For example, if you're a student coming in, okay, and says, I cannot pay tuition now. Okay, that means I'm unable to pay for tuition. Right? We can answer by, you may apply for an installment plan. Okay, you can apply for installment. What is an installment? Installment is 分期。分期叫做 installment. Okay. Now, yesterday during the class I mentioned that install, because if you have the word installment, this is a suffix here. Okay, but does install means 分期? No, it doesn't. Okay, it's a very weird way of using this word. Install means to set up something, like an equipment or facility. Right. But installment plan, that's something else. That is completely different. Okay, you may apply for an installment plan. Okay, please fill out this form. Okay. This is the one that you need to remember. Please fill out. Fill out means to write this form. Okay. Fill in. Okay, let's do this. Fill means to add. Okay, you are adding something. Okay. Fill in is add something in. Okay. But to fill in means to write something in. Okay. Fill out means to complete the form. if you need to fill something, it means you need to on paper. It means to write something. Okay. To fill in, that means to write something in it. Okay, it could be part. It doesn't have to be all of it. Just to write something in, and to fill out means to complete. You do write everything. It's considered filled out. Okay, so if someone pass you a paper and say fill this out, fill this one out, fill this one out, that means to write your information in it. Okay, fill in also has something else. Fill in also means to work. So to work for something or someone. When there is an absent. What do I mean by absent? That means, let's say Peter is sick today. He is not in. Okay, then he needs someone to fill in for him. Okay. Let's cut this in half. This is considered to work for something or someone while there is an absent. Okay, that means Peter is not in, so I would say, why are you here? Let's get a name. Sean. Why are you here today? Let's say working. And my response would be like, I am feeling in for Peter. He is sick today. Okay. If you see Sean working over there, like he's at the office and he's not supposed to be there, okay, he's like, why are you there? So you're asking like, hey, Sean, what? Let's put it. Why are you working here today? You're not supposed to be here. If I'm working for to replace Sean, I'll be like, I am filling in for Peter. Okay, I'm doing his work today. He is sick today. Okay, for example, I'm teaching for Sean. Okay, let's turn it around. I'm teaching for Sean. Sean is sick today. I will be a substitute teacher. Sean. What is a substitute teacher? Substitute teacher means temporary teacher. In Chinese we call it 代课老师. Substitute teacher is 代课老师. Means he is filling in temporarily for a short time, for a very short time. That is a substitute teacher. Okay. Where was it? All right. So to fill out means to complete a form. Okay. Now, if you tell them that if a student come to you and say, I cannot pay tuition now. The funny thing is, even though I put it this way, it's for the educational purposes. For all, I say most, I would say all of our foreign students are paying tuition by installment at this point. So they are already paying by installment. The real problem is not they don't have money to pay tuition. The real problem is that they don't have enough money to pay the first installment. Okay, that is what happened. Right now, it says please fill out this form. Now let's take this as an English practice. Okay. Recently there was news about Taiwanese students who could not pay for his tuition, and when this happened, the person jumped off the building and killed himself. Right? It is a horrible thing that happened. The problem is that it's not supposed to happen this way. That would fit this situation. I cannot pay tuition now. Now the schools should try to give him the installment plan, but they didn't. That is why this happened. All right. But anyway, the only reason we speak in English is because student needs, it's international students, right? And for us to deal with international students, we speak English. But all the international students already have installment plan already, so I don't think this is that much viable. Okay. But still, like I said, when they come, when they demanded something, for example, this is just situation A. Okay, I cannot pay. You'll fill out installment plan. Let's look at number 2, and then we'll do a short break. Okay. Number 2, the student here says, I need a transcript. What is a transcript? Transcript is your 成绩单. Okay. This happens quite often. A student say, I need a transcript. Okay. Then you could tell them, please apply online or at the Office of Academic Affairs. Okay. The reason I say please apply online, they can go to the student information system. Now here's the funny thing about our school's website. This is our school's website. Bunch of stuff. You went to the QD versions nowadays, right? I always tell my students that they need to come here and try to do what they need to do. Okay. Most of them will come here with a student information system. Okay, this is the one where every student go to. Now the good thing for this is that it has English here. Okay, it has English here. So in response that the student can understand this. Okay. However, once we are here, it does not have English. Okay. But students will use their own translators to translate this, so they actually do still get to see this. There is transcript here. I would always tell my students, come here, enter your student ID, enter your password, and you can look up your transcript. Now, there was a discrepancy. Let's go to a translator. Is there a translator? Let's do a translator. You have something called transcript, and you have something called a report card. Right? Report card, technically speaking, is also about 成绩单. We have a question being asked about what the differences between a transcript and a report card. Report card is something that people give out every semester. Okay, semester by semester, just like one semester report. That's a report card. A transcript is like a 4-year grade for the entire 4 years. That would be a report card. Right. Here's my hand. Okay. So I will tell them to go apply them online, or go to the office of this should be registered. Okay. They go to registrar for their information, right? So if they ask you what I need, sometimes the student will go to a different office or wrong office or office that's not dealing with this situation. Then you will have to redirect them. Okay, redirect them. If let's do it. If a student went to an office that does not handle this task, please redirect. Let's cut here so you guys can get a better. If a student if a student goes to an office that does not handle means take care of, means do, right? It does not do this task. Task means work. Okay, an office that doesn't do this, please redirect them. Redirect means to lead them to lead them to the other place. Okay, redirect， 请把它重新导引导。Okay, please redirect them to the correct office. 对，请重新引导他们到正确的办公室。那我们这边就会有一个 redirect。direction. Some of you might have heard the term direction. Direction means which way to go. North, east, south, west. Okay. Front, back, right, left, north, south, east, west. Right. Direction is pointing them where to go. Okay, this is like pointing directions. This is a given directions. All right, and then you have to redirect. They're already at your office, so they already made it to somewhere. What you need to do is to redirect them somewhere. You need to tell them to go somewhere else. Okay, that is a redirection. That is why it says here, please apply online or at the office of registrar. Okay, please go to a different office to do something. Okay. All right, we have the dormitory facility right now. It is actually 1:50. All right. Let's do a short break. Yeah, I'll do a longer session at the second period. I have more, and I have way more handout beyond this. Let's do a short session, a short break here for now, and we'll come back at 2:10. I'll make a phone call, and then we'll go by that. Okay. I'll take attendance when I come back. Yeah, I'll do a little cut. So let's say. 14. Okay, let's do a short break. Come back at 14:10. Okay. I know it's a bit longer, but I need to make a phone call somehow. So, yeah, let's do it.
您好 ，For English Service, please press 8。请直拨分机号码，单位查询请20，或多久由总机为您服务，谢谢。请稍后，我将为您转接分机11559。这里是一所国际化大学，除了有10%的境外学生和我们一起上课互相学习，更有4例一出国游留学方案。
喂，你好。
喂，你好，林先生吗？
是，你好。
不好意思，我这边是台湾科技大学那个林培志老师，你刚刚。
哦，你好，是。贵校有新办那个重点产业跟国际专修部的部分嘛，对不对？
对，是。
那我们有就是要邀请您加入那个计划的群组，这样赖的社群这样子。对，我有寄信到您的信箱，这样子是黄小姐寄送的这样子，不知道您有没有看到？
你稍等一下，我看一下。
好，麻烦你，我给你关键字好了，这样可能会比较快一点。你打邀请加入计划社群这样子。
这个是最近寄的吗？还是之前就有寄？
对，这几天就有寄的这样子。
好，是这个。黄小姐寄的。
是黄秀莹小姐寄的。
为什么没有看到？
没有看到这封信箱吗？
有看到，他有
看到，
拿到10月3号。
邀请加入计划群组15学年度整件这封。
是，他这个是国际专修部的，对，好。
对，然后因为你们是重点产业跟国际专修部都有申办，然后相关的承办人也都是您吗？还是会有其他的承办？
没有，这个会有其他的人，所以我等一下应该会把这个转给他，请他。对，请他
加入群组，对，然后就是我们群组里面是以主要承办为主这样子，然后如果你们是重点产业跟国际专修部都有的话，那就帮我加入2个承办这样子，就是各一个承办这样子，这样可以吗？
可以，但是我现在在看那个 email， 因为这里面有2个烂群组都有给我，是不是？看到有2个。
它是同一个群组，然后是进入群组之后再帮我修改，就是计划类别，然后还有您的个人资料名称这样子。就我附件那边附件1，麻烦你帮我看一下这样子。
好。
它下面有附件，有加入群组的步骤这样子，可以帮我点开一下。
好。
然后如果有什么问题的话，我现在慢解答这样子。
好。没关系，我先把这个转给相关人员好了啊。如果有什么问题，我再请他们。
OK，
打电话给黄小姐问。
我的分机给你的吗？
是，
还是要就是
没关系，你分机159嘛，对不对？
对，我分机是11559，然后找154也可以，就是我们2位都可以这样子。
好，这样我知道。OK，
好，
谢谢，
好，谢谢，
好，拜。 在看你的课表，突然发现你下午也有课，那个有需要帮你上吗？有需要的话不用，不好意思。Alright， 不好意思各位，重新回到我们的课程这边，刚去回了一个讯息。好 ，dormitory. The dormitory and facilities. Now, the differences between the word dormitory and facilities. The dormitory is where student lives. Well, it could be employee as well, but here we are talking about student dormitory. We used to have teachers living in the dormitory as well, but those were more temporary in that regard. Okay, so dormitory mostly are for the students in that sense. Facility actually means everything else. You are talking about other buildings as well, and the thing inside the dormitory as well. What I mean by that is that, for example, we are looking at let's look at the word facility. Okay, it'd be easier to explain it this way. Where did? Okay. Let's go with this one. Okay. Facility is talking about the equipment here. Okay, the equipment itself or the installations, it is talking about everything. Most of the time it would be like construction buildings. Okay, we're talking about the building itself is a facility. Your equipment itself is a facility. Now, facility itself includes everything, including that water fountain. It includes the what you call that? Even the bookcases, the tables, the AC. Those are all considered to be a facility. Okay, so it's in general. But dormitory actually means the place where a student lives here. Okay, that's part of the dormitory, right? Most complaint, okay, the number one complaint that we get from the students here, you might run into questions like, my air conditioner is not working. Okay, we actually have a term for this. In most of the time, I'll just call them AC. Okay, if I say my AC is not, well, most of the time it's not. Okay, it's not cold. Okay, I try to use a different sentence for this to work. Okay, if I say my AC is not cold, that means it doesn't make the room cooler. The most common question that we get from the student is, my air conditioner is not working at a sense. Now we get this a lot, okay, because some of the AC is kind of old. The AC is kind of old. Okay. Now to answer this question, number one, you could go by this one, something like maintenance will check this afternoon. Okay, and the same reply that we had I mentioned before. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, a little bit of apology sometimes goes a long way. When you say sorry for the inconvenience, it means I'm sorry that causing you discomfort or the trouble. Okay, now repair normally takes a long time. So the best way you say is, number one, you say maintenance will check or come to check. Okay, this afternoon. Or if it's reported to teachers, staff from international center or other office, you say, I will report this to, I will report this to General Affair, or you can say I'll report this to the dormitory staff. Okay. Now obviously we don't know how to fix AC. So what we do is I'll say, I will report this. Okay. You can say to school. This is fine as well. But then again, that school takes forever. So you say, I'll report this to school, or you can say report to General Affair. What is a General Affair? General Affair is the 总务处. Okay. Or you can say, the dormitory staff. Okay. 就宿舍人员. Right. Well, I don't want to say they'll try to fix it. Fixing AC takes a while, so but you can tell them that this might take some time. Please be patient. Even though I say be patient, most students cannot be patient when AC is broken. So of all the things that happen in the facility, the one that they could not stand the most is the AC. Okay? If it's just cold water, if it's like no trash can, water fountain got clogged, or all that stuff, those are bearable. No AC is something that they are having a hard time adjust to. Right? So this one requires a bit of calm the student down. Right? You need to calm the student down. Okay, that is the important part, because AC is really hard to try to convince the student to be happy about this. Okay. Most of the other stuff with the dormitory facilities are either with the keys or with their general cleanness of the area. Okay, that is where most issue comes from. But number one thing is still the AC. All right, emergencies. Now, health and emergency is something that we run into with students quite a bit often. Now, most of the time, those only happens when student first came in, and when there's like traffic accidents or something big. Okay, because once they adjust it here, they'll go find hospital themselves. Most of the time, if it's just like stomach pain, flu, that kind of stuff. I talked about health issues last time, and most of the time, if they just feel like sick or they feel uneasy, they'll handle it themselves. Like I said, traffic accident is the one that requires us to get involved, mostly related to injuries. Okay. Now, if a student tells you that I feel sick or I'm sick, okay, number one, you would tell them the campus clinic or the health, let's change it to health center. It's open from 8 to 5. Please follow me. Follow me means to come with me. Okay, you take them to the health center, right? you do last time we mentioned you do can ask student, for example, what are let's make it simple. Where do you feel sick? Where do you feel where do you feel sick? What is wrong? Okay, what are the symptoms? Now the thing about the symptoms is that a lot of time students, those are more medical terms, so it's normally used by the doctors. We as a staff or teacher, we don't normally ask the symptoms, but we ask them, where do you feel sick? Okay, because it could be an injury. What is an injury? Injury means you physically hurt your body. Okay, you're bleeding. You have bruise. Your bone is broken. That is an injury. Okay, you sprained, you twist your ankles. Okay, so injury normally are the one that affects people the most. Okay, that we had to take them to the hospital. Okay, other stuff they normally will take care of it themselves. Okay, the number one reason that we had to take them to the hospital is injury. At least 秀传医院 is like next door right now. So other than physical exam, we cannot do it with 秀传. Okay, but everything else we can go to 秀传. It's a bit more expensive. It is a medical center. Medical center costs more, but for our convenience, we take them to 秀传Hospital like next. Right? When we talk about, since we are on the topic of physical exam and students, are actually doing physical exam recently. There is they call student physical exam. Now, some of them have to do work physical. There are two types. They have the student physical exam and they have work physical exam. Work physical exam are demanded by the company because you know how before we go to work, we had to do a physical exam for the company. Okay, either school or any other type of company that we do. So it is something that they have to do. Now, most of the students recently we try to set them up with part-time jobs for the newcomers. So there were a lot of things that they need to do. Put in the ARC working permit aside, what they need to do starting recently, if your office or department start to help them filling out those forms. Number one, they have to do a resume. Okay, resume is like something that they start doing like soon. Okay, then the company will start an interview to see, like face-to-face interview to see how the students are. Then we had to do a physical exam, and then we start next with the opening up and bank account. Okay, this is something that we do, and I always joke about this. In Taiwan, everybody has like 4 or 5 or more bank account, okay, bank books. The main reason for this is that every time you swap a job, or if you go to a new job, new work, you have to open up one to fit that company. So for a lot of even for the international students, sometimes they do it twice. They have to open up 2 bank accounts, one for school and one for work. If you take students for a physical exam, okay, what is a physical exam? 检查， okay, 那个身体健康检查。Okay. Now, anything you can touch is physical. Okay. Okay, this is physical. So physical exam, it's not touching my body. 任何实体的东西啊，实体的就是电脑也好，人也好，手机也好，这个东西都是实体，这个叫 physical。所以 physical exam it just means the actual test on your body. They have to draw blood. This takes a while. Okay, draw blood means to get blood out of your body. It's called draw blood. Okay, they have to do the company do the hearing test. Okay, hearing test is to see if they can hear stuff. Eye test, and the others are standard. Okay. Most importantly, X-ray. Okay. Those are some of the tests they had to do when they called it. Now those are actually kind of extra. Draw blood is kind of like standard nowadays in Taiwan. Okay. Every test requires you to draw blood, and it will test quite a bit of number of things on you. Okay. Some students they only found out they have certain conditions when they work in Taiwan, when they do a physical exam in Taiwan. Conditions 是状态，但是在英文在英文医学里面 ，if I say I have a condition， 那就是说我有状态，其实意思是指说有状况的意思，或者是我先把这一个解释完哈。通常 condition 是在形容我现在是在什么样的一个状态下。A good condition means I'm feeling very good in all aspects. That condition, that means nothing is okay. Everything is bad, everything is wrong. So if I'm asking what is your condition, that means are you good or bad? What do you have? Do you have high blood pressure? Do you have low blood pressure? Do you have too much white blood cell? Etc. etc. Do you have high cholesterol? That is a condition. And if I say I have a condition, that means something is wrong with me. Okay, you can say I have a condition. I have a bad heart. Okay, a bad heart means my heart is not good. Okay, I'm gonna have a heart attack and die on the ground. Okay. Now there is a question about what are the differences between quiz, test, and exam. Now, if you look at those, now those were used constantly in many areas. Okay. They are similar with each other, but not so much so. Quiz means small test, something short, something on the spot. It's called a quiz. Okay. A lot of time, teacher will give you a quiz. For example, right now in elementary school or in classroom setting, a teacher can give you a quiz. This is called a quiz. Okay. Quiz is something the teacher didn't ask you to prepare for it. Okay. Most of the time, there's a term called pop quiz. Okay. It means test on the spot. I'm asking you to do this right now. It's a pop quiz. Okay. A pop question. That means I'm asking a question, like a street question. Okay. So quiz is a small test. A test is a test. I'm doing a test. Now, can I do, for example, we use a term like blood test. Okay. Do we use the term blood exam? No, we don't. Okay, even though the translators say, like blood test and blood exam, blood test is a smaller evaluations. Okay, let's put it this way. It looks like this. Okay, exam are all three are tests. Exam are big test. Right? Big test. Right? Test is test. Quiz is like this. Okay, so exam is like a major test. We shouldn't say major. Let's change it. Big test. Okay. Okay. It feels this way. A big or important test is an exam. Okay, and if you have many tests within one, for example, let's say a student right now is doing 月考. Okay, that technically speaking would be constitute for exam. Okay, so when we look at the exam itself, we have a term that says midterm. Final exam. It looks like this. Okay, you can add the word exam here. But do we use the word like final, like midterm test, final test? There's no midterm test, but they are final tests. But it's used different in school. Like in school, if we talk about the very last test that you have, it would be used in the term final exam. Okay. The only time you use final test， 这个我用中文讲一下，你们可能会比较清楚一点，好不好？我先跳中文点。我刚刚解释，exam 是重要大型的考试，重大考试我们会用 exam， 小型的考试或者是部分的考试我们会用 test 啊。那这边有一个，我们期末考都是用 exam， 我们基本上不会用 test， 期中也不会用 test， 这个都是基本上用 exam。那有没有一个词用 final test？ 有，但 final test 其实通常不拿来当做期末考，不是不行，比较少。但是 final test 通常意思是指最后的测验。我讲的最后测验就是说，你把它想成最后的考验，类似像这样子。比如说，健康是你人生的最后的一个考验，或者是你人生的最后一个测验。这个情况下，我们就会用一个词叫做 final test。你就把它想成，就像你在打魔王，你在打关卡，打到最后一个魔王关，它就是一个 final test。OK， 是一系列的考试，要考到最后那个才叫 final test。但是我们在学术界，我们通常是用 exam 来取代它，而不是用 test。这个 test 比较像是测试，是针对于你个人。比如说你现在有一个任务，或者是你的职业，或者是你的一个历练，需要做到严苛的考核或者是考察的话，这个时候我们就会用一个 test 了。这个有时候就不用 exam。你人生的最后一门课，我说的人生最后一门课可能跟健康有关，或者是跟亲情有关，或者跟什么有关。这个情况下来讲，你不会用 exam， 你用的是 test， 因为 test 在这边是指考验的意思。这个比较特殊一点，但是严格上来讲，我们比较把它简单化的来形容这个，那就是 大中小，它的大小的难度在这一边。有一个叫 quiz 是小考 ，test 是考试 ，exam 是大考。These are the differences between the three. Okay. For example, if you go to technically speaking, TOEIC should be an exam. It shouldn't be a test. But then again, some people will call it a test. So it's really depends on how you look at it. Let's see if the official website called it a TOEIC test. OK， 那它是多益考试，它没有用 exam 在这一边啊，但是可不可以用？可以，但是他们官方把它翻译是用 test。OK， I'm trying to see if there is another calling for this. No, it just says TOEIC test. That's fine. Test is used here. They didn't use the term exam. There are times you cannot differentiate between the two. That's totally fine. Okay, if you cannot differentiate what's between the test and exam, not that important. Right? These are the tests. I'm going to just read through this, and you guys can practice at your own time. Okay, but those are the one that we use all the time. Number one, please show your student ID. Make sure you show it to me. It's mostly used during the test time, but when you need to confirm something, right? You can say fill out this registration form or application form. We will check your payment record. This is done with international office all the time. Everything they do, normally the first thing we do is to check their payment record. Did they pay their tuition on time? Okay. We do this all the time. Okay. You can substitute this with we'll check with your record. Okay. If you want to show this out, that's fine. Okay. And if students are stressed out, you can tell them, not to worry. We'll handle it. Okay. Or we will help you with it. Okay. We'll help you means we'll help you do this. Alright. And this one, I use it all the time. Right. Please contact us if you have further questions. Okay. I normally, if I do a session or speech, I always ask people, students, or listeners, or audience, do you have any questions or do you have further questions? Okay. Those are practice sentences, so you guys practice this on your own. I don't have class time to practice with you guys on this one. Okay. Those are the ones that I listed here. You guys should know those already, so I'm not going to go through them. Tuition is tuition. I think we talked about this before. Okay, registration is now a lot of students sometimes ask for something as a registration status. Okay, a registration status means 就学状态. Okay, but it also means, like, for example, is a student enrolled? Okay, enrolled means 已经注册了. As is the student expelled? Expel 是退学. Okay. Is the student absent on leave? Okay, leave means leaving. I'm not here. Okay, it's talking about student who does the 休学 here. Okay, so we had a couple registration status. Now I think I want to mention this. This comes to my mind and I didn't get to talk about it. Where was it? Not here. Late registration. Okay. There's one called the late registration. Late registration means student register late, and I mentioned this two class prior that student have or international student have a tendency to come in late, so they ran into the situation with late registrations. Okay, let's look at it. I think we are done here, right? Dormitory, transcript, emergency. Okay. Now, if we say they don't have a registration. Let me put it this way. We normally try to register them before the semester starts, but because of the visa issues, we couldn't really do that all the time. So what we have is known as the late arrivals. What is a late arrival? That means they arrive late. Okay. We pre-register the students. Okay, we pre-register students as it is. But the thing is that the student has to enroll physically. Okay, let me explain the word physical again. We use the word physical exam, right? Talking about 体检is a physical exam. When I say physics, okay, physics means 物理学. Physically means action. 实体的我们会用 physical 或者 physically. 那我们如果用实体的放在这一边，那意思代表什么呢？亲自自己要出现的意思，亲自。如果我说 You have to do this physically yourself. That means you have to come here. You cannot ask a friend. You cannot do this online. You cannot do this on phone. You have to come here yourself to do this. That means do this physically. Okay. And this one says the student have to enroll physically. That means they come here to do the yourself. So they had to come here to do the enrollment. This particular year, when I was still with the International Affairs Center, I asked the students to be in school, or try to be in school on time before the semester started. Obviously, it wasn't done because students was having a hard time trying to get their visa applications on time. However, it is something that we want because we asked them to do a physical enrollment. Okay, this one, enroll physically or physical enrollment. That's what we asked the student. We couldn't do it this year. But however, last year they didn't even enroll physically. We sort of enrolled for them online. Well, not online, virtually. Okay. It's not physical enrollment. This year we asked them for physical enrollment, so students have to come in as it is. If student is not here right now, they are done. Right? Normally we allow 6 weeks. 6 weeks, where we are right now. I'm pretty sure we are at week 5 at this point. Okay, so today is week, what day is today? 17? Week 5. Okay, today we are week 5. So most of the time, most of the students who would come in had already come in. Most of them. Okay, so but they allow to students must enter Taiwan and school, mostly the same, before the end of 6th week. Sorry. Starting. Or after, let's use a word. After semester starts. Okay. Student must enter Taiwan school before the end of 6 weeks after semester starts. That means they come in on time. So during the old enrollments, we were having a bit of a rush, okay, to put them in registration. So when we talk about late registration, okay, sometimes when they say they miss the registration deadline, they didn't miss the deadline. What happened is that they are late on arrival. Okay, let's say we drop in beyond the key. How do I put this? Beyond the 6 week enrollment period. Now we don't just cancel the enrollment and registration series. Okay, this mostly happened during a late arrival. Okay, loss of ARC. Okay, if a student come and tell you that, oh, I lost my ARC card, this is a big issue, by the way. Okay, it's kind of like losing your passport. Okay, we normally tell them, we will report it to the immigration office and inform our, please. We don't have the word please. We don't have to please edit. That's fine. Just give them a hard time and say this. Okay. Report it to the immigration office and inform our office after. Okay. We normally do the reapplication for them. Now this one doesn't have to be an ARC card. For example, if a student say, I lost my laptop, something expensive, at my dorm. This is an actual situation. We had students, international students, who got their laptop stolen at the dormitory. So when I use the term lost, it's okay, because the student didn't lose it, but loss is if your stuff got stolen, it's considered lost as well. So I lost my laptop, or my laptop was stolen. From my room. What should I do? This is the actual case. We had students whose laptop was, how do I put this? Was stolen from them. I don't think it's found. It's still out there. We had quite a bit of theft happening in our dormitory a while back. I think it got better now, but still, there was a period of time it was very, very bad. I think it happened when last year's school year started out. We have major theft case every week. I wouldn't say every day, but there must be at least 5-6 cases per week. Okay, My laptop was stolen from my room. All right. We, as a staff, normally we try to get the information. It's like when was it stolen? Did you report it to the dorm advisor? Okay, we normally ask them when. It might be today, it might be 3 days ago. They don't always report it the first moment. Okay, did you report this to the dorm advisor? Dorm advisor is the people taking care of the dormitories. Okay, and I keep looking at the right because I have you guys on the right school. Okay. Do you want to report this to the police? Or let's make a report to the police. Sometimes we ask students if they want to make a report to the police. If it's something small, they might not. Laptop obviously is too expensive, but if it's just like $200 or it's just my keychain, okay, for example, it might be too small to report to the police. So sometimes if we it's not necessary to go to the police. Okay, but sometimes they get a request like, can this is normally by students. Can I look at the CCTV? Or can I look at the CCTV? And some would call it surveillance. This is surveillance camera. Surveillance camera, this is a surveillance camera. Let me show you guys what is a surveillance camera. This is a surveillance. What is a survey? Survey means to look, to scout, to scan the area. And this is a surveillance camera. Okay. The students sometimes will ask, the surveillance camera, can I look at the CCTV? Sure, there is one. No? Sure means okay. If there is one. I don't even know if we have CCTV at the dormitory. 我们宿舍有监视器吗？ I'm not 100% sure. Okay. If there is one, then sure, we'll let them watch the surveillance camera. If not, well, sucks to be them. Okay. This happened quite a bit. Okay. So yeah, most of the time, if they got like a theft going on, like they lost something, yeah, report to the police. Or if you just directly tell them, let's make a report. Report means 回报, 报告. Okay. Report to the police, it means 报案. Okay. So we use the word report here to represent we are telling someone something. Okay. An oral report means to tell a case in detail. A written report means to write it down. Okay, that would be a report. This is the verb. 在这边是一个动词在这一边，我们来做一个动词在这边 make a report。你可以说 so let's report to the police. then this would be a verb。这时候这个就会是动词。make a report， 那这边就会是名词。report 这边当动词的话就是报案。make a report 就是报案，也是一样的意思，只是写一个案子给他。其实在这边就是要报一个案，报案跟报一个案。Okay. Where was it? Oh, I still have this. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back at 3:10. Okay, and then we will continue our lesson here today. I actually have a second handout. I know we make 2 handouts per session, so give me a second. Let's see, where is my where did it go? Did I get it right? It should be. All right, let's take a break. I'll come back in a second. Alright, we are back to our lesson here. I mentioned earlier that the handout is we are using the week 5 handout. Last week I forgot to turn on my mic. Like I mentioned before that the handout that I'm using is a bit I'm using week 5 handout for this one because last week we went to the cooking competition. So yeah. All right. Where was it? I'm going to skip this tuition installment issue. The real question that we have about the installment issues, either the teachers or the staff when they encounter this, that we get is that I don't have money to pay for current installment. Okay, or just I don't have money right now. Can I pay next week? Or normally it's a date like November 10th. Something like that. Okay. Normally most of the time they wouldn't say, I don't have money, can I make an installment? Most of the time they're already on installment, but they're saying that I could not pay for the installment. They either tell you they don't have money right now, or they ask, can I pay like next week or on November 10th or something like that. Okay, that is something that we see or hear most of the time. Our answer normally is that no, you cannot. Why is the word so small? No, you cannot. You cannot pay it next week or next month. Now you guys can understand why is it so hard to collect money from them. Now most of the time, if they tell you that they couldn't pay it right now, can they pay it later? If you tell them no, they'll just skip you anyway. They'll tell you I don't have money, so they wouldn't come back and pay for it until they have money. So most of the time telling no it wouldn't work. The only time this works is at the beginning of semester when they have to register, and without paying for it, they could not register. That's when they have to pay, but it involves a lot of problems or questions. Recently, we had a student who complained to I think it was to the Ministry of Education, that we don't let her register because she could not pay her money. But then again, she has been owing money for quite a bit. She owed a lot of money to school, to people, to various people. So in that sense, it's not that we are not willing to help her. It's just that she's been owing too much money. But even though that student most of the time, for some reason they just couldn't come up with some money, even though they think that they're entitled for the registration, but they don't. But they still owe the money anyway. I'm going to jump to the dormitory conflict. Conflict means there's a disagreement among where they are. Okay, number one, students say my roommate is very noisy. Okay, it means he makes a lot of noise. Okay, Let me put it here, so it'll be easier for me to explain. Just a regular pace. My roommate is very noisy. Right. Well, first of all, we tell them, I try to talk politely. Politely means nicely. Okay. If please try to talk to him. Okay. Let him know that he need to turn down. Tell him. Ask if he can turn down the sound or music. If it continues, we can rearrange. We can arrange a dorm room meeting. Okay. Now we don't really do room swap all the time. We don't really do that, so don't suggest it. Because we normally try to resolve the problem first. So what is a room swap? Swap means exchange. Okay, a room swap means exchange. Okay, so we try not to do that. Now change. If we're talking about changing room, it means moving from one place to another, or replace one thing to another. Exchange means to switch position. Okay, A goes to B, B goes to A. Okay, that's how it works. A goes to B. Okay, they exchange places. Okay, that is exchange. We don't really do a room exchange right now, so we try to sort this out. All right. Further a little bit talking about the room conflict. We had we have several. We normally have small conflict. Sometimes we run into big ones. For example, if there is a fight, do we have those? Yes, we did. Okay, we had a fight at the dorm room. We normally have to calm the student down. I tell them, you need to calm down. Calm means to ease, to loosen up, to slow. Okay. Now the last incident we had with a room conflict resulted in bloodshed. Means someone was hurt, someone was bleeding. So we will ask, is anyone hurt or injured? Okay, you ask them, is anyone, is there I? There's no I. You need to go see the doctor. Alright, we'll do an evaluation and assessments over there, because sometimes you just have to call the doctors or send them to the hospital. Okay, the very last major fight we had, I was there. The student was bleeding from the head, profusely. I think I used the word profusely. So there was quite a bit of blood. So we sent both of them to the hospital. The both were conscious, so no one had a concussion or lost a sense of direction or anything. Okay, they were still fairly conscious. They were awake at the time, so we didn't really have to. We didn't run into the biggest major, but we tried. I think the school calls for exposure on both. Now, eventually, we gave them a chance to correct some stuff. Okay, correct some stuff. Okay, I'm not sure if they did. I actually didn't follow up on this one. Okay, correct means to do the right thing. Okay. Okay, this is what happened to them. Right. Let's go to the next one. Right. I'm gonna skip this one, and I'm gonna talk about the personal action plan. This is some I assign homework or task from time to time, and I just remember I didn't really put out the discussion for every week on something I need to do. I personally would hope that everyone get an action plan for him or herself. What's an action plan? Something that you do to make things happen. That is an action plan. I want every student, every person here to write 3 English goals for next month. Okay, something that you want to achieve that's related to English. Okay, I want everyone to. I'll put this as a link, so you guys know there's an assignment for this week's session. Okay, that I want you guys to do something about your English study. Okay, listen to me is one thing, but I want everyone to make an improvement over this. Right. So let me do a attendance check first. Let me take a screenshot. I normally do a little bit of screenshot, so I have something for the to present for the Ministry of Education when we need to when we need to show them that we did this. So give me a second, maybe 2 minutes or so. Let me take a screenshot of everyone attending to our session here. On the bottom we have Chendu here. So yeah. So someone I'm not familiar with. I'm not 100% sure who it is. Screenshot. Horrible screenshot. One more. Oh wow, I thought this would cover it. We have 46 people here online, not including myself, so there's 45 people here. let's see, today is 17. Right. Continue on to the session itself. Right. We actually have a second handout, and this originally, let me explain this one. It's almost the same, but there were additional stuff to this. At first, I tried to make the Word documents as a handout for the class, and then make sure I didn't close it. And then I was going to do a PowerPoint for this, but the thing is when I'm doing the back and forth, I kind of lost the track of it. The other application is giving me stuff. Okay, so I kind of split those in two, and that's why I actually have two. Let me see where we are. Okay, this is an actual handout that we give out to the students. Now, because we don't have, we were unable to do a physical practice, and the reason we have two is that this is like a handout I give out to learners or readers, so they can practice this. Okay, but like I said, I do one for PowerPoint, and I put both of them on the online platform. Okay. Let's see. Here I put the difference is I actually put a reflection here. Try to see which one you learn. I keep thinking there were major differences, but I guess not. I want to talk about it. All right, I'll talk about what you guys need to do. Number one, there were handouts. You need to fill in the blanks. Now, this is a common question you see in English materials, that when we talk about filling in the blanks, that means you find the correct words to complete a sentences. That is mostly. Sorry, one second. Wait, I say.哦，好。好，但是该来的还是得来。没有，今天那个经理大学的那个国际办公室，当时你们送寄完的时候，是不是那时候都是写我的名字来着？对啊，所以他们跑来我就，anyway，我转了一个 email 给你，所以你可能要看一下他要求我们学校要有人去加他们的群组，就是他们好像会在那边发讯息，还是类似这一个的所以你可能要看一下，看是潘主任想要去加他们群组，还是谁要去加群组，反正他说我们学校要有人去加。我们是不是两个都有申请？两个都有过。这个好像很常会发生的事情。好，然后 email 里面有，我觉得就算他要加，他也会叫你一起进去了，所以这个你跑不掉，或者是你会已经反正跑不掉，反正就是要有人在里面他说如果两个都有申请，或者两个都有，那就两个都要加。我说两个不是就一个吗？他说他里面有分，对啊，所以你可能要看一下 email，看他要不要加，他几号回来？哦，好，不，那就没事，辛苦你们了，好来。I'm sorry, a phone call. I had to take that one. I got a call from the other office telling me to respond to something. So that is why we have this. All right. Normally, those are my chat. I put a practice here. Now we don't have the mini role plays online because this is not something you can do. But the personal growth plan is a little bit different here because in my PowerPoint I ask you guys to find three English goals. Okay, and here I want you to identify three phrases, three sentences, three conversations that you guys can practice with, like on a weekly basis. Okay, and I personally would ask everyone to do a mini role play. Okay, what is a mini role play? It means you practice with each other. Trust me on this one. The reason I switched my today's lesson to English is because I want you guys to more but listen to this. Some of you might find my teaching to be a bit too fast. Okay, and that happens all the time. Okay, I don't have a subtitle with my English teacher. When I teach foreign students, this is how fast I speak. I truly does. I speak this like this in my foreign student class, and I only have one class with Taiwanese students. Every other class was with international. I have two. Another one is weekend class. Okay, so by doing so, they kind of have to adjust to my speed. Surprisingly, most of my students, I mean, Philippine students, one thing because they're Philippine students, they speak English, so they're okay with my speed. Indonesian students, I think about 85% of them catch up to my speed. They should be able to understand what I'm saying. But speed-wise, I think some of them are catching up pretty nicely. Okay. So I want you guys to do a mini role play at your own time. Okay. It's something that you guys have to do. I want to talk a little bit about English learning here because when I do my physical class, I like to talk about something that's related to English learning. Talk about cultural aspect. And some of the questions were pretty good. Okay, and the same apply to here. I mentioned last time. If you guys have any question you want to know, please put them in chat. Let me see if I miss any of the chat room questions, and I try to answer them as much as possible. Okay, and it does help. It does help with the English instructions a lot. If we can have some sort of interactions, it's not just me talking about the sentences, the construct of it. Okay, I don't really teach grammars here because this grammar doesn't really help with your oral English practice at all. Okay, English practice comes from speaking itself. Okay, you kind of have to just continuously use it in your daily speech for this to work. Okay, so try to practice in your own office. Okay, and then you have to set a goal. I'm going to skip the goal part because goal doesn't work if you don't have a physical practice. Okay. I'm speaking with a sounding noise in my nose. Right. That's because I might be the weather. Okay, so I have these nosy tones with me. Right. Today is I'm going to stretch this session out to 4 o'clock. Then I'll start with QA sessions. And the reason I will say this is Teacher Friday. Okay, today's Friday. I don't want to hold everyone here forever. Okay, so I'll cut the session at 4, and I'll take any QA from you guys since 4 o'clock. Now, last week I was out there taking you guys to see the student activities, the food competitions. The student did a pretty good job putting the effort into this. I kind of like what they did. The food's actually pretty good in comparison. They're very salty, by the way. But then again, since I'm not with the international office, I haven't had international food for a while. It's something I don't really miss there or anything. I mean, Indonesian food feels like fried food, like it's all fried. Philippine food I got adjusted to. if there were any reason for me to go to Philippines, probably the Jollibees. Jollibees are pretty good. Something I like. If any of you, let's jump out of this. Jollibees. Jollibees. Jolly. It's not Jolly. What? Jollibees. If I ever go to Philippines, I'll do another Jollibee. It's fried chicken. I'm a fried chicken person, even though I try to eat. I've been eating unhealthy for a very long time, but Jollibee is something I could not escape the attraction. I'll tell you guys a funny story about me and Jollibee. I'm pretty cut with a lesson at this point. Now, one time I went there and I was I kind of like Jollibee. The first time I kind of had it. If you can have it fresh, it's really good fried chicken, by the way. It's the only thing I like about Jollibee. Oh, they have this dip. It's so awesome. You guys should I dip them last time? I might have. Okay. I went to last time I went to Jollibee, I got a 6-piece bucket. It was so awesome. And I was eating a 6-piece bucket. Can I finish them? Yeah, of course I could. It's Peter. You're talking about I can finish 6 pieces. But that particular night, I was eating Jollibee, and I was very tired. When I was in my room, it was I don't even remember the time. I was late. It was filled with activities, and I was so tired at the time. I was so tired at the time. I couldn't handle it. So I just got a 6-piece chicken. This one, a bucket, and I start eating it. I totally enjoyed it. The only regret is that by the 4th piece, I had 4 pieces of chicken at a time. I was so tired from my day trip. I think I had a 4-day trip. And I was very tired at the time. They had pasta for me, so I started eating fried chicken. By the time I finished my 4th fried chicken, I got tired, so I washed my hands. I jumped on my bed. I decided to take a nap. Okay, and I fell asleep, and I fell asleep all the way. Okay, it hit me really hard. I knew I still had fried chicken to finish, and it kept in my mind, I still had 2 pieces. I need to finish my fried chicken. So I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I got up, my chicken was still on the table, and I decided, no, I cannot do that. I couldn't get my sleep right, so I went there chewing on the chickens. But by then it's already cold. Okay, it doesn't even taste good anymore. It tasted kind of nasty. Okay, so Jollibees, the rule of thumb of eating Jollibees, eat it fresh, eat it hot. Okay, that's the only way to eat it, because once it gets cold, it's horrible. Okay, you couldn't get it right. Okay, so yeah, the pasta is okay. I don't really like the pasta. I only like the fried chicken. So whenever people come in with pasta, I always like, skip with the pasta. Skip with the pasta. All right, that's pretty much just it. I talk about the dormitory. If you are with the department, the department. I mean, like academic departments. Most of the time when student comes, what they do is they be asking, for example, can I deduct my credit hours? right? What do I mean by can I deduct my credit hours? Sometimes we ran into students who brought credit hours from other school, or they had prior study from other universities, and they want to deduct their credit hours. Means to take off. You could use the word waiver, but it'll be way more professional if you just use the word deduct. Okay. Now we get these questions all the time. A lot of time we have students telling us that. Let me double check something. 我问一下哦，学生在做学分抵免的时候，他们是不是只可以抵免一次？他们可以在进来之后还继续做抵免吗？我的认知是不行，所以我都跟学生说不行。很常遇到学生跑来跟我说，他可不可以抵免他的课程？比如说他以前有拿过什么学分，他现在不想修，他想要把它抵掉。Okay. We normally tell the students that no, we only do this once. When
Peter，
有
他在最后一个学年4年级毕业班就不在此限了。
毕业班不在此限，所以他
对，
比如说
就是那个就是一组就是补偿，就是万一他第一次入学的时候没有全部抵完，然后他其实他可以在最后一个毕业最后一届的时候，就是毕业班的时候可以让他补了，只能这样子，不然他就没办法毕业啊。
好。我用英文问了哈。The reason I got a lot of this all the time is because we normally accept new students. Now, if those are transfer students, okay, transfer students means a student coming from another school or another university coming to us. And the funny thing is that we know we need to deduct their points. Okay, we need to waive their credits, so they don't have to take that many courses. But sometimes we get new students, okay, new students from Indonesia, new students from Philippines, and the thing is that some of them actually have credit hours from, take the Philippine students as example this year. I'm not sure if any of you want to try this, but during the interview process, I recall there were at least 5, maybe more students. The number is between 5 to 10 students whom already in first year of their college over there. Some of them already did their study. I noticed those, and a lot of time I will ask them, why would you want to come to school if you are already in a university or college settings? And the thing is that they will tell me, because they want to pursue different study, or they want to advance further, or they want opportunities in Taiwan. And I normally say, okay. Now the funny thing is that they already had some kind of study when they were in their own countries. But the thing is that as a freshman, we normally don't ask them, do they want to deduct their credit hours, because we assume most of them came from high school or from, like vocational institutions. So we just let them enter as a freshman. And the problem arises is that sometimes after they started taking class, like first semester, second semester, they ran this into sometimes even into the second years. Then they come back and say, I actually have credit hours from my blah 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 university. I have I have credit here. I have credit there. Can I waive this? And I normally would just tell them, no, it's a one-time waive. You don't waive it twice, or you don't waive it afterward. Okay. Sometimes they would be disappointed. Now, if the staff at registrar might run into this, because we'll tell them, go to the registrar's office and see if this is doable. Okay, but this comes up from time to time. 我用中文很快的讲一下哈，这个注册客户组的可能会遇到的一个状况，至少我会遇到过，因为学生有时候会跑来问我这个问题。我们的新生 进来的新生，至少我在菲律宾，因为我亲自面试，我至少有很深的印象，至少5到10个之间，他们本来就有，他们本来就印尼也有了，他们本来就有在读大学，有的是1年级，有的可能是休学状态，有的是就正在读。我想我其实都会加问这个问题，我面试的时候我都有那个 recording， 你们都已经在读大学了，为什么要跑来台湾读大学？那他们通常有的都会跟我说，他们可能台湾的机会，或者是他们想要来台湾读书，或者他们觉得那边读的不适应，或者想要来台湾，各式各样的理由，所以通常就会就跑进来读。但是我们在说学生对于新生转学生，我刚刚说 transfer student 是转学生 ，new student 就是新生。那新生来的时候，他们有时候我们都会把它当成新生，不是高中毕业就是高职毕业嘛。所以我们通常不会主动的去问他说你有没有要就是抵免学分，所以他们通常进来就乖乖读。但有时候乖乖读了一阵子之后，可能1学期一年或者不知道什么时候，突然就脑袋突然不知道是不是开窍了，或者是突然想到了，然后就跑来问我们说，我可以抵免学分吗？我好像有某某学分可以抵所以这个情况下，我通常都会跟他说，入学的时候才可以抵。不是进来的时候才抵，那个入学就应该要抵免这个东西所以刚刚讲到第4年，但是基本上来讲，有的学生是进来之后才开始问我们学分抵免这个问题。我讲是新生，转学生本来就都会先去做学分抵免所以我这边就讲说 ，No，we only do this once，就是我们只会抵免一次。The process is done when you first enter the university. You have to get your credits deducted 或者是 waiver。You either get your credits deducted or waived at the registration or enrollment. Okay. You should inform us about prior means before, okay, something that you have done or you have had before this, prior of entry or during application process. Right. The thing is that of all the years that we've been doing this, we don't officially go out and tell every student that they can deduct their points or they need to deduct their points because, well, sometimes we might not be the first person to talk to the students before they come into our university. So there is a high possibility that the student doesn't really think about this. As a matter of fact, when I talk to give an example, of all the students I interview, a lot of time they don't belong, they didn't study the same major as before. Okay, I have students study in civil engineering, business management, that goes to mechanical automation. So a student that study in tourism, and their prior study was like home economics or something like marketing. Okay, but they entered a complete department. At the time, it didn't really apply to me because we told them that if they come to study in Taiwan, they start as a new freshman, new student. So they don't get their, they kind of forgo their credits. But then again, sometimes when after they come to Taiwan, they just poof. Registering them and say, I have credits from my other university level or college levels. was like, sure, but you should have told us that before, before you're already in school. Okay. So this is something that kind of happened with the academic affair. It's about credit deductions. Okay. The other one they have about credit deduction. Those were normally department issues, not so much as academic affair or registrar's office issues. Is that a lot of time when students come in, they want to do substitutions. I mentioned before, substitute means to replace. They want to replace their credit hours with something else. So what they do is sometimes they'll come in here and say, I want to substitute a particular class. For example, I want to use an elective to substitute for a core course. For example, they want to use, let's say, tourism English. Okay, I'm out of ideas. So, tourism English to substitute for freshman English. Now, actually, we call this, I shouldn't call this a freshman English. I call it freshman English. Freshman English, verbally, when we call it, it means 大一英文. But technically speaking, it should be called general English. 共同英文. Okay. Or the basic English. I do look at the curriculum, but I think that's how it's called. Okay. So they want to use tourism English to substitute for general English because that's something that everybody have to take. I think it's also called basic English. It's known as basic English. Right, so they might come ask, can I substitute A for B? Okay, can I substitute this for that? Okay. This is something that department gets all the time. A lot of students want to ask about their credit hours. They would ask, they are too lazy to look up. They're too lazy to look up how much credit hours they are missing, and sometimes they got confused. So a lot of times they just come directly to our office or to the office downstairs at the registrar's office and start asking, what am I missing? Okay, with credits. Okay, like I said, they don't look at their transcript. Okay, even though I could tell them that go look, go check out. It means look. Okay. Go look at your transcript. But then again, students, especially international students, normally have. Sorry, I was reading the chat. Normally they couldn't handle the transcript. They don't know how it works. They don't know how to look at it. So we are the one knowing how to check for them. And I know this is very taxing, okay, very hard to look at it manually. It's manually. What is manually? Manually means you do it by hand, or if you do it, let's look at manually. This is something that a lot of people are doing at a lot of places. Let's do Google. manually means you do it something by your hand, okay, or you do it physically, okay. When I say we are doing something manually, that means we are doing it the old-fashioned way, the old way. We do it by hand, okay. We calculate it by hand, we count it by hand, or we look at it with our physical eyes. That means we are doing this manually, okay. If we are doing this by computer or by apps, or we use the software, okay, the other way of looking at this is by software, okay. It means sorted by computer. It's a horrible translation. I'm sorry. Horrible. I'm not going to use this. Okay. So a lot of time we use we look at the transcript manually. Okay. I know the staff downstairs also does this, and it takes up a lot of time and a lot of hard work. Okay. But if we don't do this manually, sometimes they get overlooked, and student. Because even though, well, students just not very good at looking at the transcript. Okay, so it's something that we have to help them look at it all the time. I do appreciate the registrar's office on this one. 我也是要感谢注册科组，时常都要通知我某某学生那个学分的问题啊，比如说学分不足啊，多选学分啊。A lot of time, registrar's office do remind me that certain students ran into, like credit issues, double selections, overbooking. We had double selections. Or double selections means they select the same course twice. Okay, I do appreciate the registrar's office to check them, like, especially the graduating students, every semester, to make sure that they don't run into graduation issues. I know it's a lot of work. Sometimes there are mishaps, but in general, I do appreciate the hard work. Let me read this. The freshmen or transfer students, when they want to deduct their credit hours, they should do this within 3 weeks and one time only. Non-freshmen. But still, within 3 weeks. But graduating students doesn't apply. So yeah, it's a one-time thing. Okay, I thought someone's gonna have a question. Anyway, that's about it. Okay, I'm gonna conclude here today early at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not ending the session here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the QA session early, so I'll leave a 20 minutes QA sessions. It's TGI Friday. I don't want to hold everyone here so nobody gets home. So let's start with Q&A sections. Like I mentioned this before, if you guys have any questions, just ask. I'll answer them as much as possible. Okay, you can even turn on your microphone and just ask them. That's totally okay. So let's do a QA sessions here. Let's blow this up a little bit to a 300%. To a 14 font, to a 16 font. Okay, 20 minutes. Sorry, type too fast. Right, now we will let's do a QA session. Sometimes I like to answer questions when people type them. Hopefully my microphone doesn't give out. Right. Anyway, yeah, let's. I'm open to receive questions here. If there are any, let me know. I put it on the screen. It says QA sessions. All questions are welcome. Right. So we'll take a short break, and you guys can type in the questions. I'll be here doing something else, and then we'll end the sessions by 4:20. I just realized I didn't even turn my cameras on. Sorry, my microphone on. But I'm guessing my sound is getting through because the dean actually answered my questions. So 我刚才发现我麦克风根本就没打开，但是我说麦克风是我手上这一支麦克风，不是电脑上面。声音好像有传出去，因为许教务长有回答我的问题，所以我在猜现在我的声音是还是有传出去的，而不是没有传出去。但上面其实有一个按钮是可以打开的，但是我刚刚发现它按钮其实都没有按开，所以我应该白讲了很久但是声音应该是有出去了，因为有被回答问题，所以我问的问题有被回答，所以变成希望不是我自己在这边讲话给自己听。我后来发现，我怎么没把它按开？应该要按开才对。 I had to double check that my microphone is on because, like I said, last time I looked, I said, microphone is not on. Okay. Alright. I'm going to cut it early. I said 4:20, but if no one has any questions for these sessions, I'll end it early today. It's TGI Friday, so if some of you need to go home by 4:30, okay. So that's about it. Let's call any other questions that you guys want to know about English learning or sessions as in general. And I appreciate the theme. 徐校长这么认真 answer all my questions and everything. Okay, then in that case, I'll end my recording here.